6, a helping hand with your land.
Hey guys, Neil from Essex. Excited today to be able to go through and show you a little product that we've been working on. As we go through the buying process with customers and work on accessorizing tractors, there's one feature on a 3-point hitch that is usually pretty sought out by people who have used equipment in the past. That's sway bars on the 3-point hitch, that deluxe adjustment on the inside of your arms that makes it easy in order to be able to lock your implements in place properly. The typical setup here on a less expensive 3-point hitch, or you kind of find on a lot of your economy tractors, is what's on the back of this BX-Series tractor right here. It's called a turnbuckle, these threaded rods. And while they do the job and they'll get your implement kind of locked in place, they're not the easiest to adjust, and as your equipment ages and these things get a little rusty or get dirt in them, they get hard to turn. Oftentimes you'll see people carrying screwdrivers or wrenches and that kind of stuff around in order to be able to break these things loose and adjust them. But there is a better way. On your more deluxe machines, you'll find sway bars, these metal bars with holes across them that allow you to move this back and forth and find a hole that lines up and drop a pin through it in order to make that easier adjustment. Now, these are actually surprisingly complicated little things when you get into their construction, and so it is usually found on those more expensive, more deluxe tractors. On a lot of machines, because these things are desirable, they're available as kits. So say on the standard L series tractors where you have those turnbuckles, there's a kit available to swap those out with the more deluxe option. But on these BX-Series tractors, wildly common machines with tens of thousands of them sold every year, there has not been a factory option in order to have this style on the back. There's been a couple of people who have developed their own and made some of their own, but they haven't been available in wide quantity, and we're happy to be able to actually bring this to you now. So we've partnered here with the local machine shop, really good guy who I'm actually become friends with as a customer that I've dealt with here over the years, and he's actually making these things in volume for us now. So really proud to be able to show you what he's put together for us. Let me show you some of the ins and outs of how these things are actually constructed. I'm pretty proud of the construction that has gone into these. Obviously, we are generally a retailer, right? Well, obviously we have facilities to cut and weld and build little things like this. The quantity and the scale that we're getting these manufactured at is something that we just simply wouldn't be able to accomplish in-house. The gentleman that's helping me with these is actually a good friend and customer who we've come to have a great working relationship with over the years. I'm really proud of what this guy does. He does a lot of precision manufacturing and gave us a lot of tips on how to actually build these things to a very high standard of quality, and kind of gave us a lot of great guidance on exactly how all these things go together. You'll notice most of the parts here, these little tabs are going to be cut on a laser cutter, but the main section here of this bar and the main tubing section right here are not just cut pieces. These are actually dimensionally ordered parts, so they're cast to these sizes so that there's not cuts and burrs and that kind of stuff along their edges. These little tabs here, obviously they're laser cut. Everything is laid in here and then welded together. If you take a look at him, all of his welds are super clean. Everything is ground down. The finish is nice. There's not weld splatter all over everything. The guy just makes great stuff. Once he has all the parts here cut and welded together, these all go into a CNC and then they're cut by a computer controlled mill. And when that mill goes through and drills the holes, it drills everything out, and then it also comes along behind it and deburrs everything as well. So all of these parts are super smooth. There's nothing in here to make things catch as they slide back and forth. Another thing that we paid extra money for was the paint process that these go through. You know, you could very easily take something like this and just hang it from a rack and wet spray it. But in order to avoid any kind of glops or anything like that coming out on the parts, or to keep things from being, rubbed off when they move back and forth, we chose to pay the extra money to go through and have these powder coated. So they're done in a powder process, and you'll look when these parts come together, everything is just super smooth. The quality and the finish on everything here has come out fantastic, and I'm really proud of the quality that these parts are. The installation of these in the back of your tractor couldn't be easier. So really you only need one tool. Set of pliers is really going to be all you need. The turnbuckles here are held on at both ends by these two clevises that have cotter pins in them. If we take the pliers here and bend these cotter pins straight, you're then able to remove this inside linkage. Now we're going to reuse the pins that go through the clevis down here at the end in order to lock these back on again. Now these cotter pins are generally a pain to try to reuse once you've bent them up, so along with the kit we're sending you all the new pins that you need to be able to put this back on easily. And we go and put these back on again. Drop the one end back here at the back. The side with the little angle to it goes towards the back of the arm. The flat part goes up towards the tractor. And this is super easy. We just put these things in place, drop the pins back in, take those new cotter pins and stick them through the hole and bend them so they don't come out. So you'll see here now where the real magic is in this improvement. When you want to adjust these rather than having to get out our tools and twist this threaded rod back and forth in order to make these changes, you very simply slide your arm into place. Now you'll look here, there's a series of 5 holes across the top. These all are drilled so that they line up with different holes underneath on that rod at different positions. So you have a huge range of options. So once you have this pulled out, you slide it to kind of where you want it and then simply drop a pin right down through the hole, and that will lock your arms into place. And generally then you're going to take one of these little cotter keys and slide it into the bottom of the hole in order to make sure that little guy doesn't pop out. So I'm really excited to be able to have what is kind of our very first homegrown kit in order to improve the function of your tractor. You're going to find a lot of great feedback on this feature on most other machines, and I think it's really worthwhile considering adding this to your tractor. We're going to sell these things for $189. They're going to be available on Messiks.com. You can go through there, add a sway bar kit and any other filters, anything else that you need for your tractor, we're glad to help. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at Messiks.com.